Now let's look at the last things which we want to know for understanding multitasking using multithreading, which we have been seeing till now. And that is the use of countdown latch, a shutdown hook, and a simple but an important question is, can we start a thread twice? So now to show about the countdown latch, I'm actually going to create a new class known as countdown latch. And here I'm actually going to display to you, what I mean by a countdown latch. And what is a countdown latch essentially? So a countdown latch is just, used to make sure that a particular task waits for other threads before it to start. Okay, so if we do have a countdown latch in a particular thread, then it's actually going to wait for all those number of threads to, complete before it actually begins execution. So for example, in my main, I would create a countdown latch which is going to wait for 4 threads before it starts. So I would write countdown latch and create it using a new countdown latch. And now here I'm actually going to pass the number of threads which I'm going to wait for. So let's say I will wait for 3 threads to complete before I actually, go ahead and, continue my own self. And here I'm actually going to create, let's say 3 threads. So I am going to have new thread in which I'm going to have new runnable. And in this, I'm just going to override the run method. And I would just do a simple sysout thread 1 done. Okay, and I'm actually going to begin this particular thread over here itself. So this is my thread 1, this is my thread 2, this is my thread 3. We just need 3 threads, right? So let me just remove the 4th one. And I'll do the necessary imports over here. So now we have these, 3 threads which I just started now. And what I would do is I would actually call latch.await, because this is the statement which is actually going to make us wait for, this whole 3 threads. And I'll surround it with try and catch. And then finally, I would write all threads completed for the latch, and here I begin. Okay, so now without the latch, what do you expect? If we never had this latch, if we had these 3 threads, then what I would expect is that my main method would, print whatever it wants to print, and then, each of those threads would, print whatever they wanted to print based on, when the CPU is giving the time. So now it really doesn't depend on, what is going to be executed first. It may be that the main, sysout is going to be executed first. It may be that, any of these 3 threads would get executed first, and, we really do not know when these threads are going to get executed. So it may be that, the CPU gives time to thread 1, and then, to the main thread, and then thread 2, and then thread 3, and then, I never knew, when is going to happen what. It may be that, I have to actually write thread1.join in the main before I actually print anything, to make sure that at least the thread 1 is completed before I actually, continue with my main and, all these other things. But now, I do not know what's going to happen. Let me actually, print this. I really want that my main thread should work only once these 3 threads have completed their work. So when I try to actually now run this, now it says thread 1 done, thread 2 done, thread 3 done, and we are still waiting for latch to be, for the latch to actually go and, my main thread to actually execute. But that's not happening. And there's a reason for that. Let me first, complete executing this. And the reason is because, every time my thread is running, I actually should be counting down the latch. Okay, so I have this particular latch in the main method, right? Now in this particular thread, when the thread 1 is done, I should actually be counting down the latch. So there should be a latch.countdown. So this is going to count it down once, then twice, and then thrice. And this is where, my latch.await would complete. So when I now run this, now it says thread 1 done, thread 2 done, thread 3 done, and once all these threads are done, my latch is indeed counted, completely down to 0. That's where all the threads, got completed, and, here is, what we want to do in main begins. So do something, whatever you want. So now this is how we could actually use countdown latches to make sure that, any thread which we are working in, for example, this is the main thread which we are actually working in, but any thread which we are working in actually waits for other threads to count down this particular latch, and then only I would want to, go ahead and work. The next thing which I really wanted to show you is the use of shutdown hooks. Now, what is a shutdown hook? It's just a special construct, which we want to put in our project or program, which would get executed every time the entire JVM or an entire program is shutting down. Now this may happen, if let's say your program returns, or the system, crashes and it returns with some exit code, or, some resource problem happens that, you suddenly turn out of memory and, the JVM is shutting down your program, or any other, problem which might happen in the runtime. So for that, we actually, to handle the last situations carefully, we actually create a particular shutdown hook, and then, we may add something in the shutdown hook to actually do things while the application is terminating. So over here, once, everything completes, what I would do is probably write runtime dot get runtime, and here I'm actually going to add a shutdown hook with a particular thread. Now we can actually create a new thread over here itself, and this thread is going to have our normal run method overridden, and within this, I'm just going to do a simple sysout, and I will just write shutdown hook running. And then once this entire run method actually completes, it's only here when the application should be terminated. So now once, this entire shutdown hook completes, then I would write application terminated. Okay, so now let me try to run this now. We do have our certain things, happening earlier, and then what is happening is over here, my main is getting terminated, and then lastly, the shutdown hook is running. So it actually makes more sense to actually write application is terminating. Okay, so now when I run this, okay, so now it says application is terminating, and then, finally we do have our shutdown hook which is running. So this is the last thing, which happens when your application terminates. Your shutdown hook is the last thing. So probably if, you have opened certain resources, you would want to, close them when you are actually running this particular shutdown, or any last cleanups which we want to do. That is something which you do add it. And now the last question which I shared with you is, can we begin a particular thread twice? So now we have, all these threads over here. Let me actually create a new thread. So this would be thread 1, or, let me just call it thread, and this is going to be a new thread. And within this, I would just have my public void run and a simple sysout thread ran once. Okay, and over here I would now start the particular thread. Okay, now when I try to run this, it says thread ran once. Cool. Can we start this particular thread again? Let's say, for example, I put this thing again, and now we're trying to run this. Now there is an illegal thread state exception, and the reason for that is that you cannot start a thread twice. So even if you have started a particular thread once, you cannot start it twice, or more than one time. That is the thing. Let's say, you would say that, just because, the thread was running, and, now let's actually make the main thread sleep for 2 seconds, and then try to, start it, just to make sure that this thread which was starting has, actually completed. It would obviously take, much less than 2 seconds to complete. Let's try to run this. And now, we still have this same illegal thread state exception. Just because we waited for 2 seconds, we started it again, and still you cannot start it. Even though you have completed execution, you cannot start it again. So that actually answers our question, can we start a thread twice? And the answer is no. And these are, pretty important things to know, especially, if you are planning to give interviews on Java. So I just changed some formatting, and now we are good to go with everything learned within multi-threading. So that was pretty much about multi-threading. Let me just summarize this entire week for you. We studied, optionals and how we would work with nulls. We also studied, what are packages. We saw what is exception handling, and we saw so many ways of actually, handle a particular exception. We can create error-proof programs by using exception handling. We also saw how we would work with files. We saw what is garbage collection and how we could avoid any memory leak problems. We saw how we could use multiple threads to get things done faster. Lastly, I want to leave you with some motivational tips from this course. Remember to always choose consistency over speed. We as programmers generally tend to actually, get into a full speed mode, start programming, start learning, etc. But then we lose consistency very soon, just like a soda bottle that, loses the entire effervescence very soon. So we do not want to be like that. We want to be very consistent in our efforts. If given an opportunity to actually, work with very high speed for some amount of time, or work with an average speed but consistently, always choose consistency, because that is how you are supposed to be as a programmer. You are supposed to consistently keep learning, keep practicing, and keep getting better. Also remember that, it may be that this last module, especially multi-threading, might have gotten you a little nervous about yourself, of not being able to understand, the broad topics. It's a little bit tricky to understand, definitely. But, when you actually try to just practicing once all these topics is going to make you very, very good in these things. You would remember what you have done just by doing things. When you listen to me, you remember some things. When you see me doing, you remember more. When you yourself would do, you would remember much, much more. Okay. So that is how you are going to get better. And remember, whatever you know, always you would feel, in the programming career that others know more than you. But it may be that you know certain things which others do not know. And this is known as imposter syndrome. Make sure that the imposter syndrome does not hold you back. The imposter syndrome will make you feel that others always know better than you. But remember that you also know certain things, or you also might have practiced certain things, or you also have those skills which others do not have. So you are unique and you are better than others in your own ways. And that is exactly what people want in programmers. Each programmer to be unique and to be better in what they like. So remember to always stay curious about, learning about programming and about solving problems, and always try to keep it fun. And do not worry if it doesn't work right initially, because if the program works right initially, I personally really get scared, how come it worked so trivially and so easily initially. And that really happens, when you actually try to run a particular program and it completely runs properly in the beginning itself. That means, probably the lines of code are never even reached which you coded. That, there is always a mind work which you have to do for solving a new problem. Because remember that if everything worked out well, you would be out of job, right? We would all be out of job. And we are here to solve problems using programming and using our skills. Remember to always have good quality code, because one man's crappy code is going to become another man's full-time job. And We do not want that. We actually really want to code nicely, and we want to keep solving problems because there are so many more problems which we want to solve as programmers, and we really do not want to give somebody the bad task of actually working against our buggy code. So we don't want to do that. We want to solve problem in the best manners and create the best quality code. I hope you would keep on practicing and keep on learning the concepts which I shared in this particular course, and I hope you get very good in Java programming, especially object-oriented programming. So all the best for your assignments.